Morning, guys. My name's Dave. I'm also known as Dodderin or the Boondoggle Man. I have a website, dodderin.com. This is what it looks like. It actually is going to house 4 websites at some future date. Right now, though, it really only holds 2. A huge site dedicated to some personal servers that I run for a game called Minecraft. Another site for an artistic craft using Boondoggle, where I'm known as the Boondoggle Man. And there's a lot of neat info in here if you're into that. But today I want to start to launch a YouTube channel dedicated to another love that I have. And it's a programming language called Stagecast. And eventually when I click this button, it's going to take you into a dedicated website talking about Stagecast. And that's what this video and the next series of videos is going to be about. Well, what is Stagecast? Well, if we visit their website, we can get a little bit of info. Stagecast is a programming software easy enough for kids to understand. It can be used to create sims or games. Sims are cool. Games are cooler. And I am a gamer. I have been a gamer for many, many decades. So that's what I really enjoy doing with this software. It costs you a little bit of money, but it's not bad at all. If I go to stagecast.com and I come to their main website, if we hop over here to Buy Now, you'll see it's not going to cost you much. Look at this. Save $20 off of their regular $49.95 price. So what does that mean? Look, if I say, give me the digital download, we're talking $30. $30, less money than you would go out and buy a PlayStation or an Xbox game for, but something that would allow you to create your own games and simulations, as many of them as you wanted to. There are versions available for IBM and Macintosh. So take your pick and buy it. If you're not sure you want this, we can actually go back to Buy Now again, and I think it's under Downloads. Yeah, you can actually grab a hold of either a Windows or a Mac evaluation version. It's not the full program. It does have some limitations, but it would allow you to freely download it, install it onto your computer, and play around with it for a little bit. So if you don't own it and you're not exactly sure if it would be something you'd get into, I would recommend downloading this evaluation version. All right. If you download it, you'll discover this icon. And this is the icon for the creator evaluation. You could double click it and wander your way through and find that you can install it onto your computer. And that's actually what I've just done with this one. So I'm not going to run you through that process. This is an IBM computer. It's actually running Windows 8 in Windows 7 mode. And this is what I want to do. And hello, doggy. So download it to your computer, give it a shot, double click it, install it, and then we'll take a look at what this thing really can do. All right, so I'll see you after you've installed it. Okay, guys, so here we are in Stagecast Creator, the evaluation version, the free version that we can play around with and see what this thing is capable of. Before we get in, let's just give you a little bit of background on this. You might be interested in this if you're a Mac user. Stagecast was actually originally written on the Cocoa platform, which is what Apple had used in some of its earlier operating systems. Version 9 and down, I believe. I think it was 7.8.9 or 7.8 or something like that. Then when they went OS X, they rewrote the whole thing, and Stagecast's crew was able to get their hands on it. So this is actually written on the core kernel that the Mac operating system used to be written on. This is the second version of Stagecast. It's got a couple of really cool additions in it that when we do some of our more intensive games or sims, you'll get a chance to do and see some of those things. But what I want to do is, before we get in, we'll do a little bit of talking here. Stagecast isn't a brand new program. It's been around for a while. So, you know, it looks, it shows its age a little bit, but in itself, it's just an incredibly awesome program. I would love to see them do another version to kind of keep it current. But the way the menu works is you click the little circles here, not the words, okay? If you've never used Stagecast at all, I would highly recommend that you hop into this Learn Creator section. And it's a series of tutorials, and I believe there's like 18 different tutorials that you can walk your way through. I would highly recommend you check these out. I would highly recommend that you do them in order. Don't just immediately find one that says, you know, oh, animation, I want to do animation. Because it builds upon what you've learned in the previous lesson. They're actually not that long, so you could get through, you know, especially this first screen, you could get through each of these in like under 10 minutes. And then some of the later ones could take you maybe 20 minutes to do. Stop it, guys. Stop it, dogs. Okay, I got loud dogs. So, you know, you can take them in small doses over a couple of sessions or a couple of days. But please go through these and figure out how to take advantage of using each of the things that they do. They even give you all these cool little icons and scenarios to play around with that are accessible in the game itself. So if you wanted to do, you know, your own sim using their graphics and stuff, you know, that's available as well. They also have this little quick start that you can click into, and they kind of give you the beginnings of a sim that you could toy around with, and then some ideas for what you might want to make it do. So again, you know, take a look and see what this has to offer. When I was considering putting this series together, I had thought of actually doing these myself, you know, videoing myself doing this. But then I got to thinking, it's much more beneficial if you yourself are sitting at the computer doing this yourself and actually manipulating all the pieces and writing all the little rules and stuff so that you learn how to use the software. You will definitely get a lot more out of it if you do that, okay? Well, what we would like to do is get right into this thing. So let's take a look at what it's called, or what it can do. Remember, it's called Stagecast, and we'll find out why in a minute. But I'm going to click this Create a Sim button, and we're going to hop right in. This is the main game window, or in this case, the main coding window. And I've gotten into the habit of turning certain things on right off the bat when I start something new. The first thing I want to do is open up a special menu. You're going to notice throughout this program there are these little yellow tabs that can open and close different windows and menus. I like this window to be on all the time, so I click that tab to open this window. Now you might have noticed that when I clicked it, the amount of viewable space in this light gray area kind of shrank a little bit. And in addition, you notice this little triangle. If you look over here, there isn't a triangle over here. But watch what happens if I start clicking this triangle. You don't see anything happening over here, but did you notice now the triangle's gone? But it popped up over here. That's because it actually moved this part of the screen back and forth. This area is what they call the stage. We want to be able to see the entire stage at all times while we're programming this thing. So you really don't want to have to do this business. So I want to keep this menu open, and I want to see the entire stage. So I'm going to resize this window by grabbing here. You've done this in other programs, I'm sure, but this looks a little different. So the first thing I want to do is drag it well away from the stage. Okay, so look at all this open dead area here. We don't really want this much, but now we can fully see the stage. Notice no little triangle, no little triangle. So now I want to resize it again, and I want to make it smaller. But as I'm dragging it, you notice that as I'm moving it, we actually have two sets of lines following us. The inner set of lines, the one farthest away from my little mouse arrow, is the one I want to look at. I want to get that one as close as possible to the corner of this gray stage area, but I don't want to go into it, all right, or else I'm going to get those arrows. So I'm just going to come like right here and then let go. Again, double check that you don't have an arrow here, here, or even up here or down here. Okay? All right, so that's the first thing I like to do. The second thing I like to do is open this global option. A window pops up, and all of these will pop up little windows. If you simply make use of this window, it'll go away. So I don't want this to go away. I want this to stay on the screen at all times. So I'm going to grab it from either this double-headed bar here, or I find it easier just to grab right where the title is. And I'm going to move it to, actually we can put it right up here. We don't need it to even see that yellow tab anymore. Later on, I'm going to put it down here when we make bigger use of this window. But these are some of the variables and settings that affect a stage or what they call a sim on a global basis. That means everything in the sim has access to these. And one of the things I like to do is turn on the grid. And you'll see this guy down here, hiding grid. So if I click this, you'll actually see that the stage is actually made up of a series of boxes or squares within a grid. Okay? Well, now we mentioned earlier that the name of this software is Stagecast. So where are the cast? Or what is the cast? Those are the characters that occupy the stage. And that's where this toolbar down here comes in. This green star right here, and yeah, good. See, it says create a character. So all the stuff that goes on in your simulations and games is done using these characters. It's pretty easy. You just click it, come on up, and place it somewhere in the grid. But before I place it, let's notice a couple things. It attached itself to my mouse. Do you see that? It's a little green star. You also notice the green star down here. Watch what happens, though, if I place it on the stage. Okay? Notice it's got the yellow box around it to show us we are working with this character. But let's look down here. The color of the star just changed. That's to tell us that this character is different from this character. So let's bring out another one. Again, notice it's still yellow. Let's put the yellow guy over here. All right, I'm going to drop my sound down a little bit because that's pretty darn loud. Okay, and let's go grab another one. Again, this one's orange. Let's put this guy over here. Okay. You can keep going with as many characters as you want to, but each character has specific things that it can do that we're going to talk about today. Let's try putting a fourth one out here just for kicks. Aha! We are just given one of our limitations of this evaluation version. You cannot create more than 3 types of characters. If you want more, you got to buy it. Okay? So I'm going to hit OK. So we can only have 3. It won't allow us to bring out more in the evaluation version. But what about clones or copies of characters that are already out here? Let's try that. Each of these stars is a different color because we can treat each of these stars differently. So for instance, I could train or teach this star to do something. This star won't know how to do it because I taught this star how to do it. But what if there were more than one of these green stars? There's a tool down here that looks like a little blue stamper. I can click it and make a copy of that green star. And I'm actually going to make 2 copies. I can make this one or this one. So I have, 3 of these. So let's say I taught this guy to move up the screen, which we're actually going to do in a couple seconds. If I teach this green star to do it, every other green star on the screen will know how to do it. But the other stars won't. If I was able to bring this guy out, he wouldn't. It would only apply to the green stars. Let's do the copy again, and let's grab a copy of the yellow star. We'll leave 1 orange star. So now we can talk about programming these things. Okay, and we're going to go real easy today. We're not going to go super in depth in this particular video. But let's see how easy it is to actually tell these things what to do. Right now, all that we've told Stagecast to do is to create a standard size stage with 6 characters on it. Okay? If I come down here, you see play buttons. This is standard play right here. If I hit play, you'll notice this window here, that's our clock. Okay, that's proving to us that it's executing or running our simulation. But you notice nothing's happening because we haven't taught them how to do anything yet. Well, let's do that. I'm going to hit stop this time, the yellow or the red square here, to modify it. You can never modify it if it's running. Okay, you have to hit stop first. This little blue bar should stop moving. That tells you that. Okay. Well, to train it how to do something, we got to create what this program calls a rule. That's this tool down here. Okay. They actually say make a rule. As a teacher, and especially as a teacher of younger kids, I like to be fun about it. So I call this the rule tool. Kind of cool. So we're going to click the rule tool, and we're going to click one of these green stars. It doesn't matter which one. Let's actually take the middle one. Well, when we clicked on this green star, again, with that rule tool, a bunch of things happened. Did you notice the majority of the stage just dimmed? The spot that our character occupies lit up. That's the spotlight. They actually call it the spotlight. Okay? A new window popped up, this guy, and these little arrows popped up. Okay? Well, I want to move this star up. And something that a lot of newbie programmers do in this language is they make the mistake of looking at the big picture. I want this star to move up the screen. So I've seen people grab this star and try to go all the way to the top. That's the wrong way to approach this program. Dogs, stop. So what we want to do is tell it to do an action in the smallest possible movement that it knows how to do. So for instance, if this star was to move from here to here, it could then move from here to here, here to here. Hold on. Hey, stop it. So let's try that. The first thing we have to do is stretch out the spotlight. I'm going to grab the top little box and drag it up. I want to stretch this spotlight up so that I can tell Stagecast I want to look at this square and this square. We're not going to make much use out of this window, but I do want to bring it over so we can see something. In this window, we have 2 images. This image is what should happen before the rule occurs. This image should be what happens after the rule occurs. So basically what we're saying is that if I am a green star and there's nothing above me, I should be able to move in there. Okay, but you notice the after picture doesn't say that. The after picture looks the same. So I need to move by dragging the star up a box. So again, look at the pictures. You see that? If I am a star with nothing above me, move up into that nothing. Okay? All right, for this little exercise, I'm not doing anything else with this window other than saying done. Okay? All right, I'm going to move this star back where he was, and now we're going to see what would happen. I trained this star right here how to move up. But let's see what happens when I hit play. Do you see that? Every green star moves up. The other 3, they don't. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop it. There are a series of little buttons down here that affect how fast stuff happens in this program. I'm going to go to the slowest possible speed, and we're going to play it again. Do you see what's going on? Now, I don't know if you remember, but when we put these stars out here, I created the top green star first, then the yellow star, then the orange star, then I created the middle green star and the bottom green star. Well, let's try something. I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to reorder these. I'm going to put the middle one above the top one, and the bottom one above that. And then, using drag, I'm going to highlight all three of them. Now let's put them back down where they started. Now let's see what happens again. At slowest speed, want to hit regular play. Do you see what's going on? The top one didn't move up right away. It will always let the first star you created execute its rule before any other star. So let's wait until they're all on the screen again, and then we'll stop. Now watch. If I hit play and then immediately hit stop, did you notice it didn't do it automatically? Or it didn't do it immediately? That's because it won't stop until every star on the stage has had a chance to do its one rule. Well, if we come over to global again, there's another option over here, moving one at a time. That's what it was just doing. What if I turn this off? And again, you can't click these words. You have to click the little rectangle. Bright green means it's on, like showing grid is on. If I turn this off, look at the wording. Now it's moving at the same time. So let's use that drag again. Now let's move these stars back where they were, right up here. And now let's see what happens at slowest speed if I say play. Do you see that? Every time this little blue bar on the clock moves one little notch to the right, every star on the stage gets to do one thing at a time. Okay, let's see. Boom. Actually, this button is a good one too. This one says, let every star on the stage do one thing and then stop. Okay, so if I do that, it should put the stars back where they were when they started. Did you see that? All right, let's try a different one now. These guys are moving up. What if we told the yellow star to move to the right? But let's go one step further. What if this yellow star moved to the right faster than the green stars moved up? Here's how you would do that. Go to the rule tool. We'll click a yellow star. All right, I'm going to move this window out of the way. All we're going to do is hit done with this guy. This time we don't want to go up with the spotlight. We want to go to the right. All right, that would be doing exactly what we did over here. It would allow us to move them to the right at the same speed. If we want it looking like these guys move faster, we've got to allow it to move more than one square at a time. So again, this is saying if I am a yellow star and there is nothing in the two boxes to the right of me, move to that box. Again, that's all I have to worry about. So I'm simply going to come over here and hit done. Let's put him back where he was. Just to show you what's going on, we're going to keep it on slow. And then this time, instead of hitting regular play, we're on moving at the same time. Let's just go one step at a time. So when I click this button, every star on the stage gets to do one thing. So all of these stars and both of these stars should get to do their thing once. Let's see that happen. Did you see that? All the green stars moved up. Both of these guys moved to the right. Let's do it again. Did you notice? Let's do it again. We appear to have a problem. Let's go to regular play. Let's let it run for a second. Did you notice that? Watch the interaction of the yellow and the green over here. Did you see the pause? And did you see the bunch up? Okay, I'm going to hit stop again. First, let's talk about what's going on over here. Why did this guy stop moving? Well, if you remember, it's because when we made that rule, we did this. We spanned it out to here. And we said, if I'm a yellow star and there's nothing in these two boxes, let me move to that square. But compare it to here. I'm a yellow star uh-oh, there's not empty. There's empty here, but not here. So it couldn't move. It failed, and he stopped. I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to create that rule. What if we move this orange star down a row? Hit play. There we go. Now, watch the interaction over here. Whoa. Did you see that? It's for the same thing. Let's stop and we'll actually create a scenario. I'm going to put this star right above this star. Yeah, that should be, now I'm trying to think. That was the first one we created? No, I think this was the first one, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let's hit forward 1 notch. He didn't move. I'm going to hit backward 1 notch. Okay, so here's what's going on. The green stars were made before the yellow. He got to move up to here. And because he was made first, he got to go first, even if it's at the same time. This guy can't do it because he's in the way. If I kept going, though, remember, he didn't move because we had a little traffic jam thing going on. Once this guy moved out of the way, he'll be able to move. Now, he moved out of the way, and this guy was able to jump in. You see that? So even at moving at the same time, you have to be careful because the order at which stuff occurs may toss a wrench into your programming possibilities. Okay? All right, I'm going to move these guys back. And I want to run this once. Actually, I want to go here. Yeah. Okay. So this is our first guy. So I want to move him back here. And him here, I think. Is that right? Up, 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 down, down. Good. Okay. So now we're back to the way we had it originally. And let's put our 2 yellow guys over here. All right. And let's move our orange guy up here. All right. So now let's take a look at this guy. Let's tell this guy to do a kind of movement that we haven't done before. He'll move at the same speed the green guys did. But this guy is going to move diagonally. So here's what we're going to do. Rule tool on the orange guy. But this time the spotlight's going to look a little different. We want to go down, but we also want to go to the left. So now this guy is going to come down here. All right, so let's take a look at this window again. Here's that before picture. If I'm an orange star and there's nothing to the left of me, below me, or diagonally down to the left of me, allow me to move in here. Now this is interesting because that's a pretty big test. If there happens to be anything here, or here, or here, I can't move down there. If I hit done, and let's move him over here so he's got some room to really move, we'll hit play. And see how he's moving? Let's do this. I'll hit stop. We'll say moving at the same time to speed it up a little bit. Now let's see what happens. Look at that. Wow. Did you see the pause? And talk about traffic jam. Okay, I'm going to hit stop. We know why these guys can't move. Look, this guy is right next door to this guy, and he can't move. This guy is 1 away from this guy, and he can't move. Because remember, both of these need 2 blocks empty. This guy can't go up because this guy's in the way. This guy can't go up because this guy's in the way. This guy can't go up because this guy's in the way. And even if I highlight all these and move them out of the way, this guy can't go down here. Look, it looks like it should be possible, right? There's nothing there. But because this guy needs to move to the right, and he can't because this guy's blocked. Did you notice? They can move. These guys are locked in. Because when I made this rule, we had this scenario going. This guy's not supposed to be here. But because he's there, this guy can't move down. You see? Okay? So that's basically the rules of how this thing works, okay? I'm going to show you one last tool. It's this little X tool. And I can use this X tool to get rid of stars. So I'm going to get rid of all the stars except our friend the orange one. And I'm going to use the stamper tool to create a couple more stars. And I think we'll end this first video with a little bit of eye candy, a little bit of a visual coolness that you can see we were able to create with very little work. So look at all those stars, okay? We're at moving at the same time, slowest speed. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Pretty cool. And then to end the video, I'm slowly going to start increasing the speed so you can see what this little visual piece looks like. Speed it up a little bit. Not too bad. Now, here's where it gets weird. Now, if I was to ask you the question, how many orange stars are on the screen right now? Would that be an easy one to figure out? If you take a good look, it almost looks like there's two of them moving together. But you also notice they're moving this way as well. So this little doubling is kind of an optical illusion, isn't it? Now watch this last one and watch a new optical illusion. What direction are the stars moving? If you look at it in one way, it looks like they're moving this way. If you look at it in another way, it looks like they're moving to the right. Try focusing your eyes up in this corner. Now it almost looks like they're just hopping around. See? Again, this is not a new piece of software, so the speed of today's computers makes these sims really fly. So for most of what we do, we'll probably want to be down here in the third speed. And that's including moving at the same time. If I was to turn this off, I got to do this. You see that? Then it's a lot slower. Okay? But could you imagine if this was a game and we were at moving one at a time and you were one star and a bad guy was another star and you were put on the grid first? You would run, he would run. You would run, he would run. He'd never catch you. As long as you kept moving, you'd be safe. Probably not a great thing. So we're going to find out that for most of what we want to do, this moving at the same time is really going to be integral to making some cool stuff. You see that? All right, so in the next couple videos, we're going to start from scratch and we're actually going to make a standalone game that can play under the restraints or constraints of the evaluation version of this software. Just enough so that you can see you can actually do some cool stuff just with the evaluation version. But then, to be honest, I'm going to chuck the evaluation version. I bought the full version years ago. My school bought a bunch of them years ago. And when you have the ability of breaking those barriers, it's just amazing at some of the things that you can do with this software. And that's what I would love to explore in this series. So I hope that this interests you, and I hope that you join us as we learn a little bit more about this software, and we learn a little bit more about solving some of the programming questions that pop up when you're trying to create in this software. And hopefully you'll give us some ideas, and hopefully we'll give you some ideas. So until next time, my name is Dave. This is Stagecast, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.